Okay, a couple things before we get into a few other things. We ask you about Tommy every week. What is the status of Tommy right now?
Tommy's doing well, and he's starting to get back to where we need him to be, and he's progressing nicely.
There's been some low snaps from Lucas this year in each of the 3 games. I don't recall it being as prevalent last year. What do you attribute that to?
He had a few last year also. There has been a couple each game, and you're exactly right. The first game, a few times the quarterback was about a yard deeper than normal, and I don't know if that attributed to it, but definitely the last 2 games there's been a couple. Sometimes when we go at our fastest tempo, he tends to be a little light with it, but the other times really all it is just a mental focus of you shouldn't have to think about it. It's muscle memory, but it's something you have to think about subconsciously, if that makes sense, and get it up. Now, we'd much rather have a low snap than a high snap, that's for sure, but we need to get it on the money every time.
I think on TJ's, one of his touchdown runs the other day, Lucas pulled.
Yeah.
And how often does he pull? It's pretty rare for Senators to pull, especially in a spread out.
He pulls a decent amount for us. I say a decent amount. There's probably, that game, there was probably 8-10 plays where he pulled. So it's part of our scheme to pull our centers at times.
Is the snap any different when he pulls? Is that something he's been working on? Is that maybe that part of the problem?
Well, that wasn't the issue. So when he was pulling, that wasn't the issue. That's probably the hardest to do as a shotgun snapping center, to pull and snap it on the money, which he does fine. And he probably thinks about it more then. And then I think sometimes he gets lulled in what blitz is coming, what movement, he just doesn't bring enough back there. But we didn't have any problem in those.
Is Fritz healthy?
Fritz is practicing, okay. So we'll see what happens.
What have you seen out of Carl Tucker? I feel like he's been doing pretty well blocking for y'all, made a couple plays. What does he bring to the offense?
He plays with a physical toughness, good effort, and he's a young kid, so you still have some up and downs with him. But he's the funny thing is, the Georgia game kind of got shocked into the role and played lights out. Now you got a week to think about it, another week to think about it, and all of a sudden the pressure becomes a little different. And but he did some good things last week, and we just got to get him consistent.
And how has RJ Prince progressed? Two starts now. All you start against.
He's progressing, slowly but surely.
Do you like what you see out of him?
It's getting better every week. So yes.
How did he grade out Saturday?
He graded out above average. Above average.
This is your vague day, isn't it?
And he's doing a good job, and he's working hard at it. So, and he's obviously the Illinois game was a great challenge for him against a good D line and a fairly hostile environment, and once he settled down and did a nice job. And then last week he did some good things. I think, as well as we did, if you looked at it offensively, statistically, whatever, we didn't play nearly as well as we're capable of. So whether they just kind of got lulled to sleep once we started rolling, I don't know, but it's not acceptable. So we've had a hard week of practice, and I think they're all back where they need to be.
What do you see out of this Pittsburgh defense?
They have a very